Too often in conservative media, we're complaining about what we're against. Oh, there they go again, criticizing the left and the agenda they create without focusing on our own agenda, which, for me, is MAGA. Make America great again. What could be wrong with that? Who can have an issue? And actually, when you go into the details of MAGA, I think it goes beyond party. I think, quite frankly, common sense Democrats could get their head around MAGA. Granted, MAGA means different things to different people. I know what it means for me. I have a list. I memorized it by heart. Let's see. We have to have strong borders, right? We have to have legal immigration. We have to maintain the innocence of our children. We have to have a strong national defense. I don't like overly intrusive regulation. Got to have some, but it can't get too carried away. Let's see. I believe in maintaining our God-given rights and certainly the rights enshrined in our Constitution, especially the First and Second Amendment. I also don't like getting into goofy, phony wars and not winning them. Huh? I'd also like to go to Mars. And there's one thing on my list. Oh, how about like Martin Luther King said, judging people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. Who could be opposed to that? Well, 50% of the country, or at least, well, they've done so much lying about Donald Trump, right? Because that agenda that I just outlined, it's not a bad agenda. And Donald Trump is uniquely positioned and poised to, well, he won 2016. Only he could have done that, right? Who is this guy? Where did he come from? Thank God he came from wherever he came from when he came, right? I mean, he's very unique. He doesn't fit in Washington because he builds stuff. He creates. I mean, who in Washington knows how to create anything? Could you do this? Could you, let's say, take a old-timey hotel, buy it, do all the work you had to do to get it done, renovate it? I mean, Donald Trump did that when he was 27 years old. How about creating a skyscraper when the mayor of the city of New York is trying to trip you up every step of the way? He did it, and 100 others. That's pretty serious. That's a serious accomplishment. And I like it. You like it. America likes it. Somebody who has something tangible to show for himself. What does Joe Biden have to show for himself, huh? That big, dopey smile and talk. That's it. That's it. 50 years later, it's the same guy, same big smile. And where does he go? What has he done other than take care of himself and go with the winds wherever they're blowing? Here's a man who was pals with Strom Thurmond, the racist, segregationist senator from South Carolina. They were buddy-buddy. As soon as Joe got there, they bonded big time. There's Joe with the segregationist. Here's Joe going totally over the top with gay pride this, trans that. You go from Strom Thurmond to making sure that drag queens show up in school with little kids. This agenda will not pass with most Americans if they really thought about it, so they have to demonize Trump as much as possible. How about having a border? Don't most people stand for that? Turns out Joe's been thinking about busting up the border for a long time. This goes all the way back to 2015. Watch.
An unrelenting stream of immigration, nonstop. Folks like me who were Caucasian of European descent, for the first time in 2017, will be in an absolute minority in the United States of America. Absolute minority. Fewer than 50% of the people in America from then and on will be white European stock. That's not a bad thing. That's a source of our strength.
I'm not comfortable with that. And not because I'm a white whatever. I just don't want to judge people by what's on the outside. And it seems like Joe was thinking back then about illegal immigration. Let's keep it legal. And then you have to take an oath that you support our values and our way of life. And then it truly does not matter where you come from or what you look like if you take that oath and you get here legally. This is not popular. It's not. Again, they have to demonize Trump to distract. And I don't think this is either. Take a look.
I want you to know, President Zelensky, I want you to know that all the people of Ukraine to know as well. The American people have been with you every step of the way, and we will stay with you. We will stay with you for as long as it takes.
Why don't they ever talk about peace? Why don't they ever talk about wrapping this war up? Donald Trump is talking about ending it in 24 hours. Why can't we have more of that? Why don't they even try? And there's this. Americans seem to understand that there would be no war if President Trump were still in office. Putin would not have invaded if Trump were president. 62% of Americans believe that. So on the big issues of our time, Trump wins. This is common sense stuff. It really is. So what do you have to do? You have to make him a monster, right? You have to make him out to be an authoritarian, a dictator, whatever. All things he's not. Like this.
Trump suggesting he would bring charges against a political opponent even if he hasn't done anything wrong.
Trump takes a page straight out of the authoritarian playbook, vowing to lock up his political opponents.
He has been openly bragging about the authoritarian moves he will take. Number one, front and center, that he's going to put his political opponents behind jail. Doesn't really get much more autocratic than that.
He's actually been decrying the whole thing. If you guys do it, I guess you set the precedent, and others could do it, and I could, right? But they did it. He's talking about what they did, criticizing it, but they actually did it. They threw him in jail twice. Twice he actually was arrested. It's kind of sickening, isn't it? And the FBI raiding Mar-a-Lago, can you believe it? They have to portray him as a demon, as a monster, because their sinister plot will never sell with the American people. Scare him. The documents all over the floor, even though he was totally authorized as a president of the United States to have those documents, and he went to Mar-a-Lago as president on January 20th, 2021. Joe Biden had documents, wasn't authorized to take them, stuffed them in his garage. He hasn't been indicted. He hasn't been bothered. And he even admits it.
Classified material next to your Corvette. What were you thinking?
I'm going to get a chance to speak on all this, God willing, soon. But as I said earlier this week, people, and by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage. Okay, so it's not like you're sitting out in the street.
So
but at any rate,
was in a locked garage.
Yes, as well as my Corvette.
Shouldn't the case against Trump have been dismissed or never brought after this guy said that? Or maybe a case against him, to be totally fair. This is really, really bogus. People know it. People who are thinking know it. People who are addicted to social media know it. And Jack Smith is well, I could use a lot of words right now. I don't think he's fair. I think he is unethical. And I'm looking through his latest, what do they call this anyway? A petition. It is full of political statements, not legal statements. This guy has a political grudge against Donald Trump. I'll have more on this tomorrow. In the meantime, everyone's trying to downplay what James Comer came up with, the Republican from Kentucky, chairman of the House Oversight Committee. The more they come out against him, the more I know, and you should know he's right.
Payments from Hunter's business entity to Joe Biden are now part of a pattern revealing Joe Biden knew about, participated in, and benefited from his family's influence peddling schemes.
He's right. We went through the documentation last night. I'm going to do it again in a moment. The media's reaction, though, trying to say that all of this is a joke, hilarious mistake in James Comer's new Biden corruption claim. Wow. Comer flops in latest attempt to link Hunter Biden to corruption, really giving him the benefit of the doubt here. Representative Comer dishes absurd theory over Hunter's truck repayments. Absurd? It's absurd. Comer mischaracterizes Hunter Biden car payment reimbursement to his dad. It was just a reimbursement to his dad. Let's establish a couple of things. A car was purchased, we believe, in June of 2018. All right? There they are. There's Joe Biden in the shorts, Hunter on the left. They really want everybody to know they're buying this car. Here we are, buying a car. And we know this. This is established. His own lawyers admit it. Hunter Biden had money from China in that Owasco account. Owasco and that account, well, I'll get to that in a moment. First, who remembers in 2020 Donald Trump? Man, he always speaks the truth.
I don't make money from China. You do. I don't make money from Ukraine.
There's the tell. Did you see his head? Look at what Joe Biden does as soon as he hears China. He goes, "One more. Can I see it, please?" Not you do, Joe. You make money from China. What? Me? You figured that out? Yeah, you did. All right, here's Joe's denial, predictably.
My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about? China. I have not had the only guy made money from China is this guy. He's the only one. Nobody else has made money from China.
All right, the media goes bananas. Joe's right, Trump is wrong. And everything Trump said that night is a lie. Listen to just a little portion.
Tonight, Trump made clear his closing argument is just lies, lies, and more lies, flooding the zone with a deluge of outright false claims.
He covers up all those deficits by attacking Hunter Biden and trying to dirty up Biden.
You can't dirty up a Biden. Unverified allegations, all of them. And a big assist from the print media. They all piled on saying all of this stuff. On corruption claims, Biden cites facts, while Trump tosses unproven allegations. Well, that's not true. These allegations are not allegations. They're actually fact at this point. They were fact then and double, triple confirmed now. When Hunter Biden showed up to get that sweetheart deal, right? Remember the deal that fell apart? His own lawyer in court said the following. This is back when Hunter was buying that car. Biden continued to earn handsomely and spend wildly in 2018. He received a little over $2.6 million in business and consulting fees from the company he formed with the CEO of a Chinese business conglomerate and the Ukrainian energy company. That is from his own lawyer, Mr. Clark, this year in a Delaware courtroom, and Hunter Biden was right by his side. So can I see the documentation about the car once again, please? It's a little thing, but it's actually pretty big. September 17th, 2018, the automatic payments are set up from Hunter's company, Owasco, to Joseph Biden, his dad. How much? $1,380 every single month. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, wait a second, there is a truck. There's a truck, and it was all about that truck. You know, this picture is very, very weird. It just is. They're a little bit too proud to be getting a truck, don't you think? He's 48 years old in this picture. Hey, everybody, look, we're really getting a truck in June of 2018. I also know this from Hunter's own lawyer. What was going on from that court appearance? Let's go back. Biden's substance abuse worsened in 2018, a year that included a move to Los Angeles and what he has described as a spring and summer of nonstop debauchery. But in the middle of that debauchery, they go down to the Wilmington Ford dealership and buy that car, and they take a picture of it and say, everybody, look at us, we're buying this car. You know, I think back to Tony Bobulinski, and what phrase did they throw around? Anybody remember what we heard from Tony?
I remember looking at Jim Biden and saying, how are you guys getting away with this? Like, aren't you concerned? And he looked at me and he laughed a little bit and said, plausible deniability.
He said that out loud?
Yes, he said it directly to me, one-on-one in a cabana at the Peninsula Hotel after about a hour and a half, 2-hour meeting, with me asking out of concern, how are you guys doing this? Aren't you concerned that you're going to put your brother's, future presidential campaign at risk? The Chinese, the stuff that you guys have been doing already in 2015 and 2016 around the world. And I just can almost picture his face where he sort of chuckles and says, plausible deniability.
Plausible deniability. And I think this picture of the car and shaking hands and making a day out of it at the Ford dealership in Wilmington, somehow this is part of a plausible deniability attempt. I want to show you another word, a word that isn't used often enough when Joe Biden is concerned, venal. Venal, showing up or motivated by susceptibility to bribery. Remember when Joe boasted about being so poor? That might have been, I don't know, a hint to people with big money that Joe is open for business.